Hey everybody, nerding in my 30s. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope that everything sounds good. I got a new mic. I actually broke down and finally bought a decent mic. I went from using the cell phone mic to one of those cheap Amazon mics, so I actually picked up my first, what I consider, professional upgrade. I got a 2-pack of DJI mic minis. So if you're watching this in the future, I just wanted to give the channel a quick update, show you guys what I'm working on, look at the new area. So first thing I want you to notice, if you're been a long time subscriber, been following the channel, look how light everything is. That's because I finally mounted a light. The plug is not permanently affixed. That is a temporary fix. They sell a light box, or what is it, an outlet extension that you plug in, and it looks like a external outlet box that I want to get mounted to the wall there. But just to show you guys what the improvement is, this was current, that was before. It's not terrible lighting without that light, but I mean, just look at this computer right here. That just absolutely just much better. So, not too long of a live tonight. Installing Bazzite. It's my first time installing it. Got a couple of HPs here, man. That's something that I've been kind of interested in. Let's see. So this is an upcoming video. That's actually what the Bazzite's installing on. This is an FX series computer, something I've had for a long time. I think I bought this computer on Shop Goodwill's website for like $30, and it came with the FX series processor. It's not an 8350. It's not a super high end. And then it came with a, what is this? A GT? I think it's a GT 210. But we've got an upgraded graphics card in this one, and we're going to try Bazzite like we always do with Windows 11. It just was too slow to run Windows 11, and just sitting there at idle was using half of the 16 gigs of RAM. And then over here is something I'm actually building. I'm testing a stopgap for myself. So this one to the left was a Phoenix, or was a HP Envy. Well, this is the HP Phoenix Envy, or Envy Phoenix. This is a system that was kind of their gaming line, and these came in 4th, 6th, and I think even the 7th generation Intel CPU. So this one is rocking an i7 4770K, has an intercooler, and it's got a GTX 1660 Super, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 2 terabyte PNY drive. I actually lost my desktop a few months ago. We had a power spike, lost the power supply. With the increase of parts pricing, I just decided to stick with my RTX 4060 14th gen i7 MSI gaming laptop. But I kind of miss having a dedicated desktop. And so this is going to be my personal rig for a few months. We're going to throw Bazzite on it and see how it does. Maybe I'll compare it to Windows 11 as well, but this GTX 1660 is not a permanent solution, but it was the replacement for this big chunky one that I had. Picked up both of these cards for $90 total. They both work great, so one of those will probably go for sale, and this guy will probably stick around because look, I mean, that's a dual slot card, and this one's a triple slot card. And just look at the size difference, if you can see that. This card's a full 2 inches longer. But got a video that I'm working on this week, trying to get this this FX series going on. it's a 6200. I know I said I wasn't going to say anything about it, but hey, you know, marketing. So I really like these Envies. These are cool computers, man. They've got, you know, just on the back here, you've got USB 3.0. These came with either the fourth gen Haswell series Intel or the FX series chips or the AMD. But the Vision was their low model, but that's just a neat looking computer, and it's got everything that you need on it for the money. You really can't. You really don't know what they're gonna do um, until you get them out and get them testing. So I'm gonna see what they do, but I'm interested to see what this fourth gen Intel i7 system does because the AVX2 instruction set on the CPU is, I think that the fourth gen Intel is the oldest processor that supports the AVX2 instruction set that most of the modern games use. And I did a video a couple months ago with a first gen i7 running Windows 11, and it ran great. It actually gamed, and everything was great. Let's see. Well, so those cards are old, yes. The whole point of this channel is price to performance oriented. When I started building computers over a decade ago, I was broke. I made like less than $40,000 a year, and it was tough. So when I got into PC gaming, it took me months and months of saving to just get an entry level rig. And then through flipping games and stuff at thrift shops and computers, I got to a point where I actually was able to build a really decent system. I built my first serious computer, which was a second gen Ryzen back in 2020, right before COVID hit, and it was great. But well, now that I'm doing okay financially, I still like the price to performance. I don't like the whole just throw $4,000-5,000 at a system and then you're good to go and look, it plays everything. There's no fun in that. There's no challenge in that, and that's kind of out of touch for a lot of the world. So I like to do budget oriented systems like FX chips and HP Envies with the i7. So the biggest thing with my channel is I always say to temper your expectations because let's be realistic. If you have a $200 budget, you're not going to get $2,500 computer level performance. If you temper your expectations and you realize there's over 100,000 computer games, even this little FX with that's an RX 588 gig will run something. We'll see. Yeah, both of these computers are DDR3. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the comments. But yeah, I mean, everything I do is budget oriented. I just picked up what is it? Asus ROG. Hold on, I'll grab it real quick. See if you can still hear my mic with this new quality. Let's see. Where's that new laptop? Oh, it's in here. Sorry, everybody. I think I put it in my game room. Aha, yeah, here we go. Sorry if I cut out. I had to find this one. This is so after I get this FX video done, I'm gonna start documenting some of my better flips. So, for example, this is what is this? This is a tough and an Asus TUF Gaming F16. This computer has I think has a 13th or 14th gen i5 and has an RTX 5050, and I paid $300 for it at a pawn shop. So looking up this particular model with the base specs that this has, this computer is like $800 to $900, and the proof is right there in the pudding, man. I paid $300 for it at a pawn shop just a mile from the house. And so, that is how I have built my game room and my collection is flipping stuff, and and I don't have the most impressive stuff, but yeah, everything I do is just price to performance. I've got a HP Z440 here, a couple Core 2 quad systems, just some extra parts, just kind of junk stuff by today's standards. But I like the older stuff, and you know, I like to take a look up top. Most of my older stuff is going to be the series. So let's see, up top here, I've got this Windows 9. This is a Windows 98 machine, and yeah, I'm going to use that Windows 98 machine and a Q6600 because I bought a stack of big box PC games once for like $10 for 13 games, and so I'm always doing something, and the idea with the channel is to just show that there is a way for you to get into PC gaming and just gaming in general with a little bit of ingenuity, a little bit of thinking. And now, granted, I know that's going to be dependent upon where you're at in the world, what your budget is, what your access to resources are. Man, Bazite is taking a little while. Had to get a new jump drive because the one I used to use just died. So the 128 gig drive that I've used forever, and then the 32 gig that I've used, just neither one would load Bazite. So cheap Walmart branded one. Just grabbed them like $6. Worked great. So hopefully Bazite will be fun. Yeah, that's about it. I really didn't have much tonight. Let me take a look through these comments. Yeah, I'd be interested to see who. I'd be interested to see how well these run. Fortnite it's crazy. I remember when Fortnite was could run on anything, and actually, I think my most viewed video is a minimum spec Fortnite PC from probably 2 years ago, where it called for like 4 gigabytes of RAM, and the system wouldn't even open the game, and so I blew it out of the water there, but. We ran it with the minimum CPU, which with the integrated graphics, I think was a 4th gen i3, 4130. I think I ran it on with 8 gigs of RAM on an SSD, and it actually ran great. Well, it was playable, and I ironically won the match. So let's see, Petals, Paths, and Pines. Hey, welcome. Sorry, I'm trying to get a little bit better about reading the chat. I kind of forget it's there. So this computer is an FX 6200. 16 gigabytes of DDR3. It's got a 1 terabyte SSD and a 8 gigabyte RX 580. And this one is a HP Envy Phoenix pre-built. That's got an i7 4770K, 32 gigabytes of DDR3, a 2 terabyte SSD, and a GTX 1660. And that's going to be until I think I'm going to probably pair this guy with probably a 2070 if I can find one that's at a decent price. I picked this one up on eBay for about $140. I paid up for it because I've always wanted one of these Envy series. This whole computer I have now, granted, the 1 terabyte SSD I've had for a while, so whatever the market value is now. But I paid $30 for this whole computer on shopgoodwill.com, and it came with 16 gigs of RAM, the FX, and like this really shitty GT 210. But a graphics card's a graphics card. So if I can sell that for even $10, I'll have a full system for $20, and then I paid $50 for the graphics card. So this whole computer, realistically, I think I paid $50 for that drive before it became the the Ramageddon. And I think so. What, $100, $120 on that, and this one's for testing. If you're just joining me, this one is one I'm building as a stopgap for myself. I have an MSI, was it a G63 thin or whatever, it's got a 13th gen or 14th gen i5 RTX 4060, 32 gigs of DDR4 with 2.5 terabytes of storage. That is my personal gaming laptop. And yeah, I may actually be upgrading to DDR5. So I got this what is this? I keep forgetting. This is Asus Toughbook. So this system is a DDR5. This is a 14th gen i5 RTX 5050 laptop. I just bought this at a freaking pawn shop on Friday for $300. So, I mean, that's like a $900 laptop. So this may be my jump into DDR5. It's one of those things that I don't play a ton of PC games, and the stuff I play is usually older, so I don't need a big expensive computer. But my son he's a big PC gamer. He plays every day, and he's on a really antiquated 8th or 9th gen Intel i5 system. So he's due an upgrade soon, and I've been slowly saving and flipping so I can get him a DDR5 system because he lives on his computer. Um, yeah, the sleeper build is something that is going to be something that I've always wanted to do. I haven't actually done a sleeper build in probably 8 years. I used to not have the space that I do now, and so I've been collecting stuff over time. Well, ironically, I move into this house when I bought it 2 years ago, and finally have room to start the computer stuff. And then computer stuff has just been hard to find just for the last 2 years. Um, Hi, Ploy phone. Yeah, DDR5 was the best move to buy it when it was cheap. And the thing is, I was looking at getting a DDR5 system probably 18 months ago, and was like, well, my old system was working fine. My old system was I think it was a Ryzen 5. It was a 5600. I was running an RTX 3070. It did everything I wanted it to, so I just didn't see the need to upgrade. Then a power supply failed and took out part of the system. Um, yeah, DDR5 is money. And it's sad where we're at today with RAM prices. Like I found this whole handful it's nothing great. It's like PC4. It's like server RAM and stuff. Most of the stuff I've gotten from little odds and ends IT jobs that I do on the side, but it's all DDR4. And the last time I went through my RAM pile back in January of 26, I threw up some RAM, and all of a sudden I'm like, boom, I had like $700 of RAM. So I guess this was a batch of stuff I just missed back then. But um, oh, let's see, what's Bazite doing? Please check the document to never used Bazite before. I've been using Rufus to bypass the security features of Windows 11, and Windows 11's actually been running great. In my video playlists, or not in my playlists, I've gotten bad about organizing playlists, but in my videos, one of the videos is a first gen i7, like an 860, and running Windows 11 with an like an R9 380X, a 4 GB GDR5 card. It ran great. I was playing Fortnite. I mean, it was playing Doom. It ran great. And so it was just an awesome, that's what the point of the channel is, the computers that people just toss out. But yeah, I actually looked at a 5070, and Walmart locally just got a bunch of 5080s, and they're what, $1,300, which is right about what they were going for on eBay. But yeah, Nobara was one that I had looked at as an option. I was looking at Nobara, Bazite, and what was the other one? Not Candy OS, Catchy OS. Is that the one that I was looking at for this? This computer actually had Windows 11 on it, but it was so slow. It was horrible. And I just was like, this usually what I do is I'll set my computers up out in my garage. I've got a mesh router out here, so I've got really good coverage, and I'll just let the computer run for, overnight installing games. Well, 4 days later, none of my games were installed on Steam, and I kept loading up the computer, and sometimes I would have to reboot it. And then all of a sudden I find out that it has a issue with just RAM, just sitting at idle. It's using like 8 or 9 gigabytes of RAM. And the ironic part is the 16 gigs of RAM wasn't even the bottleneck. Or you would think the CPU, the tri-core 6200, was sitting at like 20% utilization. It was just bloating up in the RAM. But switching it over to Bazite, I think, is going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting experience. I've never used the Bazite, but that's, I don't know. I'll play around with it. Yeah, Windows. I use Windows 11 for my personal. Like my laptops are Windows 11. I'm not going to get rid of Windows 11 because Microsoft bad. Bad opinion. I like Windows 11. I think, yeah, that's what I was thinking, but temps were fine on it. Those FX chips do run hot. But and it has been hot here. My garage isn't air conditioned or anything, but when it's 100 degrees outside, it's probably, I don't know, 88 in the garage. And I've got a big shop fan that keeps it cool. But today's actually, like, it was only 82 degrees today, so it was actually really nice out. But I'm interested to see. Apparently, Bazite, is breathing life into old systems, and I figure it's my turn to try it. Uh, but I use Windows 11 for my primary laptop, and I work in IT for the government, and we do a lot of, most of 70% of the machines I support are Windows 11, and the other 30% we run some form of Linux. I'm having to learn Red Hat. That's one I've not used before. So anytime I get an opportunity to play with Linux, I'm like, you know what? That's probably a good thing for me. And if it helps me produce a better product with my videos, then that's what the whole point of the channel is. Growing the channel, building stuff I like. I like to make content that I think that I would watch, and I like budget computer stuff. I think that's really it. I didn't have too much else. I'm gonna play around with Bazite and get Steam going on it. I think they said Steam comes with it, but I just remember 10 years ago when I think the first Linux distro I ever used was Linux Mint, and in probably 2016, 2017, I think 17, and you couldn't get anything to run on it. It was a great OS to put on. That's some of the very first computers I sold to make a little bit of money on were on Linux Mint. They were just, it was a basic, easy thing, but I'm glad to see that the development for gaming is coming. Is traversing the whole Windows domination that it's had. Um, Definitely the way that the tech industry is going. I can tell you from my professional experience at work, we have lost contracts for certain software applications that have grounded like my entire organization, and we have had to come up with in-house solutions and backdoors how to get into programs. And we've actually made better products that don't cost us anything because we're not paying tens of millions of dollars in contracts. So I think as this technology keeps growing and climbing in price, and the security restrictions, I think people are going to start really pushing for more of the they're going to start pushing for more alternate ways, like gaming on Linux. And the thing is, Windows 10, I loved Windows 10. I think it was great. I absolutely was devastated when it ended, and I honestly didn't even upgrade most of my computers to 11 from 10, but I just kind of quit using the machines. But yeah, I do miss making old school RuneScape content. I got last year when I started all of that, I wasn't the best year for me to do it. I was in Kansas City for work for 21 weeks last year. And it wasn't one big chunk where I was like, I could get settled and used. It was like 4 days here, home for 3 days. And then, like my biggest time I was there, this time last year, I was in Kansas City for 6 weeks for school. I still do play a little bit of old school RuneScape. I'm not doing the Iron Man stuff right now. My main account is a Max Combat. It used to be a one defense pure. It was a Nightmare Zone product to get to one defense or maxed out one defense pure. And my buddies and I PK'd, and then we started playing the main game. So we maxed the combat, but my stats have not kept up. I've been working on getting a base 70 on my main account, and I'm like, before sailing came out, I think I was 2 skills away from getting base 70. But I've been playing on that to try to get that base 70 back up, and then I want to get back into PVM. And because as much as I like PKing and the Iron Man, I really do enjoy in-game bossing. That is my favorite. It's always been my favorite content on the game, and maybe I'll start getting back into making the videos for it, because I really enjoyed it. But I have so many little series that I like making. Let's see, I'm doing the video game collection right now, and I know I'm kind of seem like I'm split, because seems like most YouTube channels are either like they're tech, they're retro video games, they're RuneScape. I mean, the channel name is Nerding in My 30s, because I'm just nerding out. Just whatever is floating my boat at the time, or I'm super interested in, is what I'm doing. And sometimes I film it, sometimes I don't. I'm always tinkering with something. I'm always, messing with computers. I'm got to get my game room finished, put up, so I can do a game room tour. That's kind of my big goal, was to, by the end of the summer, was to have a game room tour done. But we had an issue. I had a bat colony in my attic that we found at the beginning of or middle of June, and we couldn't do anything because of their roosting baby season until like 2 weeks ago. So that was, a several $1,000 fix, and we're still not done, because the bat guano is actually highly toxic, and the cleanup is not just as simple as going to clean it. I got to have another crew come out, but we've been having 100+ degree days here in Arkansas, so nobody's going to clean it until it's cooler out. So it's just like, okay, focusing on that. And home ownership's great, I love it, but man, it can get expensive. But I hope to catch you all later. If you haven't hit that notification and subscription bell, I really appreciate it. I try to do these lives as much as I can. Well, I don't utilize them as much as I should. This is easy because I can just make it. We can chat. We can get some updates to the channel, and here we go. But yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still making. I've been working on this this freaking FX system. Was supposed to have been out last week, and it was when I built this and got it cleaned up. But between work and dealing with crap at home, like just my new favorite one is, you see my garage door spring broke. That's what it's supposed to look like. And the garage spring snapped and scared the ever living crap out of me. And now, I got to have somebody come out here and fix the garage door. But it's just like stuff like that keeps preventing me from doing stuff like this, because, I've got to be on the phone or measuring, can I fix that? Which I could, but I don't know. That's not my area. But anyhow, appreciate the talks, and I'm going to try to do this live once a week, probably shooting for Saturday nights. Maybe get in a couple more during the week as things start to ramp up with school and my kids get back into their schedules. But so keep a lookout for this Bazite video in the next couple of days. I got to get it figured out, and we'll have a good time. I appreciate everybody who's joined me for this video, and I'm Jake with Nerding in My 30s.